everyone. Leo Margets continues to thrill us in the World Series of Poker Main Event. After a solid fifth day, the Catalan champion begins the next one with 2.8 million chips, 56 big blinds. At this stage, the field has been dramatically reduced. Only 199 players remain from the 10,000 who started nearly a week ago. Leo isn't thinking about it yet, but this new day will begin under the bright lights of the feature table. She hasn't slept much, like many of her opponents, but Leo has a key asset up her sleeve: the guidance and advice of Adrián Mateos. The coach's support will be crucial in moving forward. Before play resumes, we join them for one final discussion.
All right. So?
Didn't sleep much, but I knew it was gonna be part of the grind.
Yeah. Better than yesterday?
Yeah, better. Yesterday I fell asleep pretty fast.
So you slept how long? Like
6.
Okay, good. So yesterday went good. I mean,
It was the first time I risked my tournament life for the first time.
Okay.
I mean, I went all in several times, but against shorter stacks.
When was it? After the dinner break or before? Because
I went with Jacks versus Ace King. That weird hand that Greg Merson, you know, he never opened races, right?
Okay. So he limped Ace King?
No, he limped in the button.
Okay.
So I made it 5 blinds in the small blind with Jacks, and the big blind raised to 13 blinds.
How deep were you? Like
33
40?
blinds.
33, okay.
So I went all in and he tanked a bit, and I mean, it's a cooler. He called with Ace King, and it was so, you know, so tense, but you know, it was a high emotion, and at the same time, some friends told me, said, "Oh, you were so chill," and I'm like, really? I didn't, you know, I was,
Good.
I was, obviously, you are super happy. I was super happy, but you're not gonna let the emotion overwhelm you. You need to keep going. It's not the end of the day, you know. I mean, I remember smiling and like celebrating a bit. I felt like, I mean, it's a victory, you wanna celebrate. But even if it's a flip and it's not something that, you know, like not much I could do except for
you made your decision and then you...
Yeah, but happy that until day 5 I didn't have to risk my tournament life.
Yeah.
Which is something you probably only can do in the main event.
Correct.
Long way to go, you know, like day 5, it seems like we've been playing for ages and it's the halfway through.
Yep, exactly. So what about today then?
My goal is, as it's been from the beginning, to be proud of myself, enjoy the uncomfortable moments. I even wrote it in Insta this morning, like I wanna embrace those difficult decisions that are part of any sport that you play at top level or activity that you play in a competitive way at top level. It's not gonna, there's not such a thing as always easy, right? It's super nice when you just know if you what to do, but there are sports where you don't know.
Yeah.
You can be super competent and we don't know everything, and then when you accept you don't know everything, you manage to enjoy those moments.
Great.
And yeah, I say it and I get the goosebumps because
I mean, that's the one thing we've been talking about for the last, 4 days?
Yes.
That thing, and you've carried yourself this way in a great way so far.
It's funny, no? Don't you think it's weird that in a way, it's as if I needed to talk to you? Like, I remember the day I called you, we were...
Yeah. No, and it was, and I remember we talked about it, like when we actually went into that topic, that when I told you, what about trying to be okay with all the uncomfortable moments, it would kind of, it's like, little light,
unconsciously,
went up with you.
Unconsciously, I think I needed.
Yeah.
I went in search of what I needed, because sometimes you need it, but you cannot make the click yourself. You need someone that makes the click. The fatigue is there, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's 6 days plus what we've been grinding before, but as you said, it's me and the fatigue is for me.
And same question as yesterday. I mean, I looked at everybody's face yesterday when they sat down.
I look like a fucking panda, dude. It's like,
but I mean, you feel tired. Sam is super tired also. But look at everybody else at the table. I mean, yesterday they looked like zombies. Everybody was like this, like putting the chips out, and obviously everybody's tired. So yeah, so you keep your goals in check. You know, yeah, you have set your goals and you keep that in mind, and that's basically aligned with that too.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, ready to go, huh?
Yes.
Good luck, Leo.
Thanks,
Good
Steph.
luck.
It always feels great to talk to Steph. It's like with him I can sort out my goals, my intentions. I'm very tired, but oh well, so are my opponents. And besides, I have an advantage, many years of experience. Many years of experience, and I have a very strong mindset.
Ça va.
Let's see which table. Oh wow, looks like it's the featured table. Well, actually, I kind of expected it.
629 is this one? 629.
I got table. See, what's the name?
Leo, Margets.
Margets. Yep, you're over here, seat 5. 4 and 5. Yep.
Perfect. Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Leo Margets.
Perfect.
Perfect?
Yes.
Okay. Yay.
That's awesome. Hey.
Buenas.
Buenas. How are you?
I'm okay. Nice to see you.
Yes.
Wow. Honestly, I was a bit tired, but I can already feel the adrenaline. A mix of adrenaline, excitement, eagerness. Damn, day 6 of the main event.
All right, dealers, at this time, if the players have not shown up, let's crack the bags, dump the chips out in front of the seat.
It's a day where I'm gonna have to adapt a lot, because this deep run in the main event is already life-changing for a lot of players.
We're going to carry on with level 25, 30,000 small blind, 60,000 big blind, 60,000 big blind ante. I'd like to wish you all the very best of luck here today. Dealers, please, shuffle up the deal.
Being on day 6 of the main event means that for many players, this is already the most important moment of their career.
I hope you guys are ready to go because the rest of the tournament.
And it's crucial to spot which opponents are most likely to be overwhelmed by this situation. There are only 200 players left, the payouts are already huge, and the possibility to keep advancing in the most important and prestigious tournament in the world can really test the composure of many of my opponents.
I had teams warming yesterday in 12 hours.
But in this context, I feel like I've got a big advantage. I feel ready for whatever comes. The only thing that matters to me really is to keep playing well, to the best of my ability, justifying every decision I make and focusing only on the current hand. All right, focus. Bill opens the hand. He seems to be a recreational player. He's got a huge stack, that's for sure. And well, here with pocket queens, we're definitely going to re-raise. I think a 3 times raise is standard. It works well.
Raise to 360. 360.
I drank a lot of coffee this morning.
360.
Esther is also at the table. She's a reg who's been on the circuit for many years.
Okay, let's go. Oh, yeah, Papa. Oh, wow.
And with a lot of enthusiasm, the button goes all
If I
in.
lose, I get the girls back, but I never lose.
How many big blinds is that?
Shamu never lose.
730,000. Let's see what Bill does.
I don't know, it's weird. I think it's a setup. It sets the cards up somehow.
It's quite a few big blinds, but oh well. My decision is obvious. Hopefully Bill folds. It would be really annoying if Bill re-raised, honestly. Alright, perfect.
It's 600, no?
Oh, very, very easy.
It's like 6.
Yeah, I call.
Okay, let's go.
Obvious call, and
two
he has
hands.
ace queen.
Are you kidding me? Well, we got the ace.
2 rounds, 2 hands.
All right, we all know the card we don't want to see
I
come.
told you.
Shamu never loses.
I told you.
Come on, come on, come on.
Oh, never.
Hold.
A-L.
You never lose.
U-L.
Come on. Huge pot, really important. First hand I play at the featured table.
I think I'm supposed to rip that. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Come on.
What's the rule about phones?
Now there's nothing more to do.
Everyone can have them on
And one
their
more time on the
This is
phone
the
thing.
part I can't control.
I just, he very scared me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
Well, this looks
Real
promising.
life? Is it real?
Is this fucking real life?
But all right, come on, a red card.
You have a spade. Bro. But
It's gonna be red.
first,
Spade. Oh my god. Give us one more spade. One
my
more
God.
fucking spade. Let's go.
oh my god.
It's never
Let's
easy.
go. Shamu, spade.
It's a family broadcast.
I don't really care.
Oh my god, there it goes.
Thank you. Always a sweat.
I want to see your eyeball.
The heart rate 195. But it's more enjoyable with a sweat.
Yeah, good plan.
Here, I want to see here. You-
I can tell you how much.
Good morning.
Spades.
good game.
GG.
Didn't play.
Good.
Good time. Unbelievable. Pink. Set. Queen. Set.
But not as big as his H-Jack or something.
What's the rule?
Cowboy Paul needs
I
to
mean-
know the rules again.
It was easy for me to get away from it, but
You weren't
I
very
was just
clear.
saying that you didn't have many.
Even if I think even if he doesn't shove, right, it's not the best spot you wanna find
I
yourself.
don't know. I'll just.
Yeah, I thought we got you.
Well, talking to the players can sometimes give you a bit of info. Oh my god, another premium. Wow.
$120.
120.
Give you a trade first. You're too rich.
Cute when she raises. I don't know.
Way too rich.
2 hands,
baby.
and they're getting better and better.
She goes one thief, and then cute smile. That's how you do it. You try it. You know when you went all in, time went all in, you kind of did it in a cute way too.
And it falls to Bill in the big blind. He calls pretty quickly.
Yeah, my buddy said you're
I don't know about a mixed game class, but I do like mixed game with that game. That game's a little more.
Okay, he checks. And here, I'm definitely going to bet. Yeah, I'm going to see bet 100% of the time. Maybe exploitatively, I could make a bigger bet than usual, knowing I'm up against a recreational player.
This table is very dangerous. 2 hands, back shoot. Oh, okay. That's why I'm here.
It's still hard though, because it goes rapidly too. Just
All right, he folds.
If you watch the stream, you're gonna.
and I only
What? I'm going to be upset?
No, very happy.
Very happy. Oh, good.
Yeah, you play.
Ace 10 off. It's not an amazing hand, but it's good enough to open. This might be the worst offsuit ace I'll be playing from this position. And let's see if the table respects my raise or if they apply pressure on me.
to start, you can push your cards a little bit further.
All right, perfect. The best thing that could happen. Stealing the blinds works perfectly for me.
That's why I can go. Yeah.
It's also important to try to see how each opponent adapts to being at a featured table, because some players go wild and others turn into nits. Each player is affected differently by knowing that their friends and family are going to be watching them from home. The pressure is different for each player and affects them differently.
You and I are going to be friends forever. Okay? I'm just telling you right now. We're going to be friends for the rest of our lives. Okay? No matter, even if
You left here or here? I don't know. Because you see,
I'm facing an open from a player in early position.
because I yesterday do this and then like
With ace-7 of diamonds I can call, but I can also 3-bet.
3 million?
Yeah, I think I prefer the aggressive line, make sure I'll be playing heads up if he calls, without the blinds joining in, and while applying more pressure on my opponent. At this stage of the tournament, you have to figure out which players you can apply maximum pressure on, because these players don't want to play big pots.
Raise 400.
I don't know if that's the case, but I'm going to give it a shot because that's exactly what poker is about. Putting your opponents in uncomfortable situations, forcing them to face situations they'd rather avoid. He calls, but he certainly doesn't seem very comfortable. It could be because of the pressure of the moment, or because of the type of hand he has. I don't know. It's a pretty good flop. I'm going to c-bet small with 100% of my range. Yeah, I think 1/5 is enough. Besides, I'm expecting 0 check raises from my opponent. Well, yeah, he has a few better ace-x, but he also has weaker hands from which I can get at least 1 bet.
Just use the keyword. 175.
PH word. The spell word.
you can call me ADDER. I'm fine. You see? Either.
Yeah. Well, also, yeah, well, I don't want to be results oriented. Thinking I could have checked and given a free card to suited broadways. But, well, anyway, the c-bet is never going to be bad.
I'm professional player, League of Legends. No, get the fuck out of here. I swear to God.
What team?
No, you don't know in Taiwan.
I bet you I know.
Really?
I watch everything.
Yeah, I don't really know. Even at the World Series, I just have been taking it day by day. I haven't really time for either. Yeah, so. Yeah. just have a black number at the end of the year is my thing.
Ace-7 off. It's a hand that's good enough to open from the cutoff, and even more so at a table where I'm not seeing much aggression so far.
Raise 120.
And the button looks like he's calling. When the button only calls, I rule out strong hands. Button versus cutoff. Yeah.
Not change. Heads up.
It's not a bad flop, but I'm going to have a lot of checks in this spot since I'm out of position. Even more so against a player who has me covered by a large margin. Alright, check, check. And now, I have a decision between checking again or starting to bet. I have a borderline hand, although, well, after his check on the button, I pretty clearly have the best hand. But what I'm not sure about is whether I make more by betting the turn or by checking to let him bluff. I'm also not sure if he's the type of player who would do that, so I think the best option is to bet. That's never going to be wrong. Not too big, so he keeps calling with some medium pairs. A small pot we take down, not bad.
Don't teach me.
First break of the day.
I will, thank you.
No, we are leaving. I think we're leaving.
1:30. You change the table?
Yeah. You guys move the stacks? Yes. Where we move?
I don't know.
No, but we keep the same table.
Everybody.
Sí, no.
Go to the same table. We're just not going to be on the TV.
They try to rotate the featured table as much as possible because in a way it's unfair for the same players to be there for hours.
I would have squeezed there in a fucking heartbeat because you were from Brazil.
After all, you're always showing your hands, and that gives information to the opponents who are following the action.
We can use iPhone.
I need some racks.
Yeah, a lot of that.
It will show the table already.
I don't know, but we'll move all your guys'.
You guys move the, but which table?
I have a watch.
629.
Is where? There.
629 is over here. If y'all rack up, you can follow me.
Alright, same table but away from the TV cameras.
Okay, yesterday we moved them for you. Everything has to be different.
Follow me.
I have to pack up literally.
We're going to go to 629.
It looks like I've brought my whole house with me.
I'm gonna rack this stuff. I'll touch you.
I have too much stuff to carry.
Can I carry something for you?
No, I don't think you can either. You are. No, I manage. It looks like I carry my house, eh? Thank you. Ciao.
I'm glad they're taking us off the featured table.
4-3.
Not so much because I'm showing my hands to everyone, but because it requires a lot more adaptation. Because each opponent adjusts their play differently at the featured table. It's a variable that affects everyone in a completely different way. Some become more conservative, worried that people watching from home will see them make a bad play, while others decide it's their moment to shine and want to win every pot. And that extra effort to see how the featured table affects each player takes a lot of energy. Alright, I'm settled at the new table, more or less.
Thank you.
And we're disconnecting for the rest of the break.
Can I get 1 second?
Sure.
I know you're like crazy. Okay, girl. You've been in this game forever. This is like the dream. This is what we're all waiting for. Talk to me about where you're at. Where are you at day 6? What are you thinking about?
Very grateful to be here. You know, in our lives, how many times we're gonna be able to play at day 6 of the main, but just enjoying trying to play every hand the best I can, because then you know you can be tempted to think what if, you know, and think too many in advance. But it looks so far, but it's halfway through the main, so still a long time to go. Just focusing on every hand really.
And one more thing, you came, I think, from the feature. You just got your table moved. Is it a little bit nicer when you get off the feature table?
Yes. One, because it's very hot and I like to play with my hoodie. And then, well, not particularly this one, but in general, you need to put more energy into figuring out how our players leveling themselves to the feature, because, you know, people change. So it's a bit of extra energy. But yeah, I hope I'm back, because that will be very good news. But in 4 days.
Oh, good luck. Thank you so much. It's good
No
to see you.
worries.
You look
Yeah,
amazing
yeah.
as always. I was like looking at your biceps, like your hair. I'm like, she hasn't aged a day. Not a day.
Thank you.
Well, I've turned down a lot of interviews these days, but honestly, Sarah is a sweetheart. And I've known her forever, so I felt like giving her a few minutes. At the end of the day, they're also doing their job. Wow, 162 players left in the main event. Pretty crazy. All right, come on. Back to the table.
¿Dónde está mi mesa? Ah, qué bien que estabas por aquí.
I'm lost. I'm curious to see if the dynamic changes much now that we are no longer at the feature table.
This table is so much lower.
Yeah.
I'm in the other one.
40,000, 80,000, 80,000 dealers, please shuffle up and deal.
Actions here.
Water, Red Bull. Do you have a sugar free, please? Anything? Anything?
Raise 160. I'm sorry, 180. Raise is 180.
Bill opens. It's very tempting to 3-bet this hand, but with my opponent's 35 big blind stack, I think I'd rather call. I'm not sure. It would be really annoying if he shoved. Honestly, I like both lines. So far, I've gone with the aggressive line every time I've had to make a decision. And I think applying pressure is a factor that pays off. So yeah, I'm going to 3-bet my hand.
Raise 510.
I like observing him, see if I can pick up any information, not just for this hand, but also for what comes next. He looks really uncomfortable. Could it be nerves? The urge to make a move? Not sure.
All in.
Damn. I'm not going to snap fold, but in my head, I folded the second I heard all in. But I want to make him think I've got a somewhat tough decision.
3.2, no?
Also to build my image. If I snap fold, he'll know I was bluffing.
Oh, thank you.
You know, my approx. 2, 5. Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, you got 1, 2, 2, 5.
Just under 3.
All right.
Super respect.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Super, super, super.
yeah, I want to make him think it was a really tough decision.
40 on the
老板，帮我弄一点1杯水。
1.5. Yeah, you do have her covered. Her pet total was 9.
Good luck to you. Good luck, okay?
GG, I said.
Listen, good luck. Yeah, I believe in you, okay?
Va, vamos, vamos.
Confidence, okay? You got it.
Welcome to the
Esther
table,
has
Mr.
been
Cole.
eliminated, and I think I'm the last woman standing.
The last woman in. He's the last woman in. Why?
I don't know.
I think so.
Something that doesn't mean much to me, but
Thank you so much. You're going to be
See?
big line 80-80.
I was already many years ago. One time.
actually I think it's the second time I'm the last woman standing in the main event. In 2009 and now. But well, that wasn't a goal. We have other ambitions.
Range to 175.
Bill opens from the small blind. Everyone folded to him. Could I raise him? It's a good combo, but I don't need to be balanced against a recreational player, so I'm going to call.
Heads up.
Wow, what a flop. Looks like he's going to keep betting. 160. He bets small, 1/3. Alright, there's an SPR of 2. I could maybe raise, but maybe it's better to let him keep betting. Both options seem reasonable to me, but I think it's better to call. Just call.
Heads up.
It's an interesting turn. Hopefully it improves his hand if he had opened with an ace-x and wanted to continue on this flop.
At 260.
Once again, he bets very small. I'm hesitating, but I have to let him take the initiative. Yeah, I think it's the best option.
Heads up.
9. It doesn't change much. The range I think he has isn't helped by this 9. Hopefully he has an ace.
That's
420. 1/3 again. I think I can get value, but
call. Release.
wow, I'm not sure if he would have called a raise. In the end, I played a bit conservatively. I have a hard time figuring out the range of a player who doesn't have that much experience. I'm not sure if he would have called a raise. Maybe I was hasty calling so quickly. But oh well.
Okay, so it wasn't like, yeah, 25 very big ones. That's crazy.
Raised to
Open from middle position. A player who hasn't been super active, but I've seen him in a few interesting hands where he got creative. Ace-king suited in the big blind. A stack of 55 big blinds. I'm going to 3-bet.
You are very rich now. Very rich now. How much? Those?
What? How much I pay? Like 5 million maybe.
5.
I really didn't count.
It's okay. It's okay. I can see everything almost.
4 times seems good to me. We have similar stacks. I've got 55 big blinds. He's got 60 something.
Re-raise.
Much?
700,000.
It's a standard 3-bet. He's a player who's currently experiencing the biggest deep run of his life. For him, this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. I know he's under more pressure than I am. He's not a random player, he knows what he's doing. But surely, the tension of the moment affects him more than me. He doesn't look like he wants to fold, that's for sure.
$1.25 million.
4-bet. Ace-king of spades. Well, going all in is never bad, but against a range I estimate to be really strong, I think it's better to call and see the flop. If it were ace-king off, it would be a mess too, but maybe I could go all in. Right now, yes, sometimes he has an ace-5 suited, but mostly he has kings. I don't know if he could trap with aces, queens, I think he'd just call maybe. And yes, he also has ace-king, but I'm putting him on a really tight range. I'm going to call and reevaluate.
It's 1.5, no?
Yeah, 1.25.
Ah, sorry.
This player has already shown me that this is the spot of his life. It's an important moment for everyone, but clearly he's someone who isn't going to do just anything or play super loose here. Also, if I called, it's because my edge is post-flop. The SPR is 1.5. On this flop, I hardly have any donk bets, so I'm going to check. Yeah, I'll check my entire range on this flop. But with 2 overcards and the backdoor spade draw, if my opponent bets, I think I have to call one street. He's going to c-bet 100% of the time. Yeah, I don't give him a lot of bluffs. Maybe 50% of the time, ace-5 suited or something like that. 400,000 is what he bets into 2 million, which is 20%. Well, pretty standard in a 4-bet pot. Yeah, I have a reasonable call with my 2 overcards and the backdoor spade draw. I'm going to call and reevaluate. What a huge pot, but I can't give up here. Not yet.
Heads up.
This card changes absolutely nothing. If he bets, I'm going to have a very tough decision. The SPR is already below 1, and we're already on the turn. If he bets, I'm going to have to fold, even if it hurts. But he doesn't look very convinced. Come on, please check. Which hands could he check here? Alright, come on, let him check first. I also have some traps and he knows that. Oh wow, he checks. That's amazing. What great news. This 8, actually it benefits me more after this sequence. It's just that once he already checked, I rule out aces or kings after his check on the turn. He could have queens from time to time, yes, but that's only 3 combos. Actually, the most likely thing is that he has the same hand as me, ace-king. And on this river, I think if I bet, I can get him to fold a chop. The SPR is tiny. I'm not going to shove, even with this tiny SPR. I think I represent more strength if I don't shove. And on the other hand, I leave myself a way out in case my opponent has queens and raises me. It's crazy, but I think I'm going to bet 1/10 or something like that. This is something I'd almost never do against any player, but I'm convinced this blocking bet is enough to get him to fold the same hand as me. And I deny him the opportunity to bluff me. Besides, I think this sizing will never be perceived as a bluff. Honestly, this isn't standard at all, but I think it could work. And also I avoid getting bluffed by the rare bluffs he could have and having to fold. Come on, fold. Come on, fold. Fold ace king. Yes, let's go. Wow, what a huge pot. Oh my god. A 4 million pot without showdown. Let's go. Let's go, let's go. When the day ends, I'll think back on this hand. I don't want it to break my focus right now, but this is definitely a hand I want to replay in my head later. But well, now is not the time.
Feels good to launch with king high. What? Feels good to launch with king high.
Yes, that last hand was unusual, Leo, but it went your way, just like all the others since the start of the day. Nothing seems able to stop you in this main event. You now sit behind a stack of 6 million chips. That's 78 big blinds, double what you had 4 hours earlier. Meanwhile, the field has dropped to 136 players, and after Esther Taylor's elimination, it's official. You are the last woman standing. A symbol that ultimately doesn't matter that much, because it's not the first time this has happened to you, and the only thing that truly matters is being the last player standing. We'll be back by your side very soon in the next episode of Inside the Mind of a Pro.